Welcome to the Woman Podcast Show. My name is Natasha. I'm your host, and with me today we are talking about uh, seduction. And our special guests today are Dr. Bak Nguyen and his apprentice, Melissa Calixt.
Hi.
I am happy to be here, but I'm no lady.
It's all good. We need a masculine perspective on
All
this
right.
topic. So
Is
thank
this
you.
voice deep enough for you?
We need that we need a deeper like Barry White type of thing voice.
I- I'm listening because we have an inside joke here. Before the show, she told me that my voice was not good enough to do Emma or the feminine people, and I was hurt. I was hurt.
Oh my gosh, please. Melissa, you know Emma. Can you imagine put the masculine version of Emma? It needs to have like a deeper voice, right?
This voice is deep enough for you.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to concentrate. You have to concentrate.
All right, I'm all yours, lady. Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves. Melissa, maybe you should start.
Yes. My name is Mel. Well, my name is Melissa Kelix, but people call me Mel or Coach Mel. I'm a writer, a freelance editor, and I'm also a coach, a fitness coach. That's that's who I am actually, pretty
And
much.
what are you working on currently?
I am working on writing books. Precisely, I'm working on beating Dr. Back on his field by writing 10 books, actually. Because on his first year, he wrote 9, and then I'm about to beat him with 10
That's awesome.
until July.
July, you're gonna get
Yeah.
that. You're gonna do 12.
Yes.
I believe that you're gonna write 12. Write 12.
Right. 12.
12,
Okay.
12.
12. Dr. Back.
So I'm the victim here.
Oh.
First of all, my voice isn't deep enough, and then I'm the guy to be beaten. So yeah, I'm the victim here.
You're the victim. Please tell us, who are you?
A victim.
More and anything else we should know about you?
This it's about seduction, and if I put the bar too high, I want to survive this show. So yeah, I'm a victim.
Cool. Well, let's put it that way too. So, hey guys, I'm really happy to have you guys on this show, and this topic was brought up by Coach Mel. And Mel, I want to ask you, what made you think about this topic today?
Actually, we're talking in the office about the future books I will have to write. And he asked me what I would love to know from him, actually. And I came up with seduction because um, I feel like he's a great seductor. I don't know if he knows it, but I feel like it. And he has this ability of, I mean, when I speak with him, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I feel like a feeling of security, and I think this is a really important thing. That's why I needed to know much about seduction and how to get there, to make people, I mean, comfortable to talk with me, and a feeling of trust, like I would
If I
say.
may ask, I think I already asked you that. What did you see? What made you think? What did you see in Dr. Bag that made you think about seduction?
The way he speaks to people, the way that people listen to him, actually, and it comes easily, and I really like it, and I would love to know more about it.
I agree with you. So I'm gonna ask you, Coach Mel. You have you have the floor. What questions do you have for Dr. Bag, the victim today?
Yes.
I'm
Well,
speechless.
actually,
I'm speechless. Thank you so much because this is empowerment. When I hear this, I want to talk. Wait, say my voice not deep enough. Come on, man. I just want to go home after that one.
Maybe I should write the male version of Emma, and then it's gonna be we're just gonna
Yeah.
end it up here. Mel,
Well, my first question. I mean, there's a lot of sub question in this first one. Mm, I always thought that seduction was a kind of art that leads to get in touch with people and to learn about our social abilities. And I would like to know how can the power of seduction can be used to self development. Let's say confidence and influence, for example.
How can you use seduction to build up your confidence? Is that your question?
Yes, confidence and fight maybe shyness and use it for influence.
Um, I think you have that reverse. So mostly, if you want to seduce people, you have to be confident at first. Of course, as people coming to you and you're gaining traction, your confidence is building up, and you are more and more seducing people. I was trying to warm up because I was kind of a little intimidated by this. You flatter me a lot, want to learn seduction from me, and Nat was kind enough to accompany me in this journey, and we talk about it. I think that one of the main thing about what I know about seduction is you have to be genuine. You have to be uh, authentic. So mostly, if you are looking to seduce somebody, but you want something out of it, it's hard to. You have to be a very good actor to get out of that one life. So mostly, I think that people, the main thing people are looking for is to connect. As you connect, you have to know what you're connecting with. Are you connecting with somebody genuine, or you connecting with somebody who was trying to sell your story? So there's all out there. There's all those kind of mind games, strategy. So they teach you how to talk, how to behave, how to keep your silence, how long you have to wait before returning a call to someone. So all of those, I think it's very well built around the psychology. But it's not seduction. This is a technique. It's a way to trap somebody into a way to react or to act. I don't have that. So I cannot talk about it, but what I do know it's as gentle as you are, as genuine as you are, people are attracted to what you project. So if you ask me, when I talk, I spent 20 years being a dentist. More than that now. It's not that cool to say, but um, and as a doctor, my job is to help people, is to heal people. Especially as a dentist, people are afraid of dentists, and this is no secret. And the first thing you have to do as a dentist is to absorb that stress. So you have to kind of reconfort them, to give them comfort, saying that, okay, I know you don't like to be here, but everything's gonna be all right. And then you start proceeding. So mostly you're not even touching teeth. You have to touch your heart first. You have to give them the confidence and the trust that everything will go well. So with that training, I learned to take a lot on my shoulder. Every time somebody in front of me and that person called me doctor, I kind of let's say take over that role of taking care of that person to empower that person. This is what you hear a lot from me. It's I like to empower people. So as a doctor, I'll be healing people. As a motivator or an author now, I am empowering people. And for as long as you can relate to your audience, for as long as you know what is in that conversation for to that person, people will be asking for more every single time. So for as long as let's say that that person is looking for security, you have established that, you have established what she needs and or he needs, and you are giving that person a way to reinforce the trust, the security, whatever they're looking for. There's no way on earth they're gonna go walk away because basically they are feeling good in your presence. So basically, what I know about seducing, I don't like seduce because seduce is like You being a peacock and you try to attract people to you. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm having a genuine connection with people. And what you have from me, it's I think that you like that connection. You like what you see and you're asking for more. And this is one of the key factor to seduction. Make sure that people are begging for more. This is no manipulation. It's basically you are giving people something that they want and you're giving them just enough for them to want for more. If you're overwhelming people with what you are saying, with what you're giving, that will give you the opposite effect. So you kind of have to pace how you're talking to people, how much you're giving to people, at what frequency, but just give them enough. Be genuine, but give them enough for them to be able to digest it, but also to come back and say that, oh, I want more. Don't go. And this is where seduction happens because you seduce that person. Something we haven't talked about it. You know that when you seduce one person, and especially in when you're not talking about a romance, there's other people looking at you, and the more you're successful seducing one person, the rest of the people is seduced too. And this is where confidence is becoming very important because as people are coming to you, now you're sharing more and more energy to all of those people. The magic happened when there's more than three people there. So basically, they're there. You're the one spreading energy, but just because that they are listening to you, there's kind of another vibe energy coming back to you. You feel empower yourself. And then if you didn't have a plan and you were just genuine, things are just going to go very naturally and you're going to rise up. But if you have a plan, you have a strategy to say that, okay, after 5 minutes, I have to stop talking, then I have to let her talk. And then if people are coming into the group, you have diversion, you have distraction. And is when
Mhm.
all you will throw your game away. So just let's to make it clear, the solution I can talk about, I can kind of share. It's not the one that it's not a pickup artist. It's not to just go in a bar and to get out with a woman. If you can go everywhere you want, you can even go to church with this. But if you want to have a genuine connection, this is where seduction starts. And your question, Melissa, it's how can you use seduction to build up your own confidence? It's basically, I think that it's come back to what are you looking to do? If you're looking to connect with people, you have to start somewhere. But as you connect, generally, and you have to understand that whatever happened in the conversation, you were just half of it. So let's say that you go to a person, you're kind, and unfortunately, the conversation is not going in the right direction, and you feel hurt. It's not you the problem. The other person was a problem, and what you have to keep as a confidence is, okay, I tried my best. That was not on me, and it's fine. I can just pick up again by tomorrow with somebody else. But the worst thing that can happen that if every people that you meet, every person that you meet, you react to them, and then you kind of revise your own way to talk, to seduce, to exchange. The problem is this is not you anymore. You're kind of the result or the side effect of everybody who just step on you, who met with you, who connect with you. And this is where you will never be confident. This is where you will never be genuine and you always look broken. And in a conversation, and in which you play the game of seduction is about attraction, right? So what do you
Mhm.
attract? If you're insecure, you're attracting to people who's gonna take advantage of that insecurity. If you're
Mhm.
secure or confident, you'll be exchanging with sometimes with peers, sometimes with people who are just very different than you are. But rarely people will try to take on somebody who's confident to just have fun because it's not an easy win. So back to that question about confidence and about seduction. I think the first thing you have to be and you have to be aware of when you want to seduce is you have to feel good about yourself. You have to believe in
Mhm.
yourself, whatever you are, and you have to believe that there's something there that people that is worth people's time to find out and to connect. And if you're looking for that kind of jewel, stop looking inside. Stop saying that this is who I am. I want people to appreciate it. If you reverse it, you say that this is who I am and who can I help. Now a lot of people will go to you. You didn't even have to seduce because you were there to empower people. You were there to help people. You were there to heal people. I don't know if I answered the question, but that's as honest as I could out of from right out of my
No,
mind
no,
without thinking.
That's interesting. If I
that's
may
a
just
yes,
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 go
yeah,
ahead.
go. No,
Go
no, no,
ahead,
go
Mel.
ahead. It's okay. No, it was just about uh when you were talking about uh that people I was talking about people trusting you when they listen to you, about your people that you are, I mean, helping. How do you get to know what they want actually? Um, how to be, I mean, the people actually, you said that you have to know what they want, but how do you get to understand them better? The people that you are helping actually.
Melis, I'm gonna ask you just to repeat your question.
Yes. How do you get to understand the people that you are helping so you know what they want? Because it's important to know what they want so you can help them. So how do you build this trust?
The obvious answer to this is listen to what they have to say, right? That would be the obvious. But mostly it's to be able to help people, you have to be above yourself first. So get over yourself first. So people with insecurity or people that are too overconfident, promise it's always about them. So when all you see is your belly button, it's hard to understand other people. And then everything that you say should be about you. So it's always what's in it for me. There's no good conversation out of that one. So the first thing, if you want to reconnect with somebody and to be at use for that person, it's you have to let go of yourself. Whatever is insecurity or is arrogance, or you have to let that aside. Then you're available to serve the other person. This is one. The second thing is it's very hard for somebody to be able to help somebody else without knowing who they are first. So you don't have to know everything about yourself, but at least you have to know what you're good at, what you're not good at, and try to use your strength to empower the other person. Now, whatever is said in a conversation, we have to understand that the thing that the other party will keep from that conversation is not what you said, it's not even what you did, it's how they felt in your presence. So if they felt that you were genuine and you were empowering them, mostly you have to be genuine and to be there for them. And if you are genuine, you're there for them. The first thing that people want is to talk, is to express themselves. So if you are kind enough to just listen first and then observe that person as they're talking to you, observe that person as you are speaking back to them. If you see that that person is getting closer and closer to you, you know that person it's hooked. If that person is getting away from you or distracted, you know that whatever you're saying, it's not of interest. Sometimes people will say, cut your loss there if all you're looking for it was to score that night. Other times it's like, okay, now I have to readjust what I'm saying to make sure that I have the interest of the other person. So the art of conversation or the art of seduction, if you want, in this case, is it's mainly about you have to read the other party. You have to understand what they are looking for, what is they are, how they react to certain aspect of what you're saying, and don't go where don't hit a wall. If they don't, let's say that you we talk and I talk about religion, your eyes get wide open and you're in it. So we know that we have the same opinion, we have the same religion, and we're gonna have a good conversation. I'm saying religion, not to say sex, but the same thing is gonna happen with sex. You talk about sex and that
We're
person,
gonna go there. Don't worry about it.
no, but
I'm the host. I'm the host to bring up the heat, so we're gonna go there.
whatever religion or sex, what you have to do is make sure that you read the floor or you read the other person. Make sure that you don't put the other person in a spot where they feel not comfortable. And it's very easy to understand that if you were connecting. It is as obvious as if you talk about something and that person take a step back, you know that they feel threatened.
So you read body language.
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that, Dr. Beck,
Mm,
at reading people, reading body language
yes.
specifically.
I like to talk a lot, but in the presence of somebody else, and I have to kind of seduce them in the context of this conversation, I have to shut up and to listen, right? That's how it works. So if I shut up and listen, I have a lot of time to look at everything else.
True.
So if you summarize this.
Good point.
If you want to have a real connection or to seduce in this stage, be available. Look past yourself. Whatever is strength or weakness, it's not important. What is important is to make the other person feel good in your presence. How you gonna do this? This is gonna be for you to kind of figure out at each person at each conversation. But if you're available, that person will give you all the hints you need to make her or him feel better. And if you do take that path, I can guarantee you that by the end of the night, you are a seducer. You're a seductor.
Do you agree with me, Dr. Beck, to say that in seduction, so if I understand properly, it's about the other person, make that person feel good, and it's all about them
Absolutely.
rather than trying to be the hero of the night or whatever.
Actually,
It's
you're gonna
about
be the
them.
hero of the night if you make sure that the other person feels good in your presence. You don't have to do anything. All you
Exactly.
have to do is to make sure that the other person feels value, it feels better, even feels empowered. And then let's apply seduction to the worst kind of label possible. Those who are good in seduction are salespeople, right? They have
Right.
a product to sell.
Mm,
If they
mm,
approach you trying to have your money, you know that you don't want to talk to that person. Whatever they have to sell, you're not interested. And this is usually how we are reacting to salespeople. But some of those people are very good. They come to you, you don't even have a clue of what they're selling. You don't even know if they sell. And then they start talking about you. All they want is about you. And there's also a technique. Some will ask you a question about you. But if they ask too many questions, you know that, whoa, wait a minute. I don't have to disclose myself to you, right? So it's not about just asking question. You have to be available to connect. And those super salespeople, what do? They approach you and they're gonna talk about anything possible, and they're gonna read you. So let's say that they talk about the weather. Yeah, okay, that's an easy way in. But then they're gonna talk. Oh, how about your children, or how about your love life, or what? You're gonna find a subject just to connect with you and to gain your trust. They're gonna
mm,
empower you. As they empower you, the next stage they're gonna do is not to talk about whatever they have to sell. It's to try to find a way for you to mention your need. And if within those needs that you are expressing, they find a way to connect whatever they have to sell. Some will take a lot of time before I write to that, but um, they just make sure you said out loud that you need them. So basically, all they have to do by just say, "Hey, you want me to help? By the way, you should try this. This still works well." So mostly, you sold yourself. All they have to do is to guide you through that conversation and to ease themselves in. I think that's a very good technique. I think it's also kind of very genuine because they were
mm,
reconnecting with you. You were in control. You were the one sharing information by yourself, even if it's guided. And who in a conversation is not guided, right? Amongst friends, one will guide the conversation. So I think that was very fair game. And sometimes it won't turn out that you're gonna be hooked at whatever they have to sell you to you because you are convinced that you need that. You're convinced that what
mm,
you be gaining something out of that. Some of the time it might be too expensive or it's not what you, but that will be a sell. And those salespeople that are very good, they will never oversell to you. They're gonna just give you enough for you and say, "Oh, please tell me more." Uh,
Curiosity.
True.
yeah, because it
True.
just I told you selection. The recipe to selection is to give enough so the other person wants more.
Mm.
You want the other
True.
person to come back to you. If not, you're overselling.
Which break
True.
down the value
True.
of the product. And we're back to the podcast with Dr. Bag Nguyen and Coach Mel on seduction. Coach Mel, uh, what else? What question did you have for?
I thought this was a
Yes.
conversation, ladies.
Yeah, but I know she has a bunch of questions. So unless you want to rebuttal on something, uh, Did you want to rebuttal on the rebuttal or?
No, I don't want to rebuttal, but I have something that I will want to talk about. It's about, I always had that fear of public speaking. When I'm in front of a bunch of people, I get nervous. I don't know if it's because of embarrassment, but I want to talk about speaking in public. I want to talk about how do you even seduce a crowd? There are so many people there. So how do you seduce so many people at once?
Wow. If I will take some, it's what it's 8 now, so let's have some fun. If you go on stage naked and you survive the first 30 seconds, you're good. So the same here. It's if you go on stage and you're too self aware of yourself,
Mm.
you get crushed for sure.
Mhm.
Picture yourself being naked, and you can survive that one. You survive everything. Now, to seduce one person or to seduce a crowd, it's pretty much the same. And the way I want to approach this, and again, this is just the way that I approach this. When I seduce one person, I'm trying to connect with one person generally. And I having that person to give information back to me. So as we speak, she will tell me what she wants, what she doesn't like. Her body will give me information. When I am on a stage talking to a crowd of people, if you look at the crowd, you don't know who to look for. And but you need that
Mhm.
exchange of energy. Just like now, right now, I'm looking at you, and as I say, you knocking your head. I know that I'm saying something good, so I can build up from that. I'm seeing Natasha smiling, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I can move forward. So on a crowd, on a stage, you're trying to look inside of that crowd. Some people that's gonna be responding to you. So there's a lot of faces, but you have to narrow that down to maybe a few faces. And if you are coached, some people will say that find faces in the front, some in the middle, and some on the back, some on the left, and some on the right, because that will allow your eyes to move around. So the crowd thinks that you talk to everybody, but mostly you're talking to those people that you kind of identified from the beginning of that show to have a dialogue with. And who are you identifying? Let's say that you say a joke. You look at those people who are laughing the loudest. Those are your friend. You said you ask a question. The first person who's going to raise their hand is going to be part of your friend. So you try to identify those anchor I like to talk to call in the audience with whom you're going to have a discussion, a dialogue, even if you're the only one talking. If you go through the modern immerse, they use that technique. Pedro Rosso use that all the time. Russell Pedro, sorry, he used that all the time, and he even named the people. Who what's name?
Mhm.
What's your name, sir? What's your name, ma'am? And then that's at the
True.
beginning. After that, they're gonna call, oh yeah, fat guy. Or, but for as long as the person is okay with that, everybody's laughing. But this is very important. You have to read the nonverbal because people are not talking back to you. So to find those friends or those anchors, you have to look at the people who are kind of pre-sold to you. Whatever you say, they're gonna like. and they're gonna serve as a mirror to you. Because if you seduce them, the crowd will love you. If you don't seduce them, you're gonna be kind of off with your crowd. So to answer your question is you're not looking to seduce everybody at once. But as you are connecting with some anchors and your eyes is moving around and you address different people, the crowd think that you're seducing all of every single one of them. But honestly, you have to keep that to a personal level. I know that I'm teaching you to write books, and the first rule I gave you writing books is you have to know your audience. You have to narrow it
Yes.
down to a way that you can feel who they are, you can smell them, you can almost touch them. It's the same
Mm.
if you want to talk in public and you want to seduce an audience, you have to know that audience. You have to dance with that audience. So the first rule will be picture yourself naked, and you can survive that, you're good.
Um, can I ask you something?
Please, you're the
Because
host.
they give I've heard that example for several times about picture yourself naked, but why is it so effective? But and I ask for myself because once I get to a stage, I don't remember that trick. I just think about delivering what I need to deliver. But why is it so effective? Picturing yourself naked.
Actually, if you're on a stage and you're already talking, please keep your clothes on. But if you're right on stage and it's an awkward silence, start removing a piece of cloth. And it's funny, do that literally, and you feel people starting to react to you. You just break the ice.
Maybe I shouldn't go there in my mind because
Yes.
One of the I wrote, I think, more than 3,000 quotes, or close to 4,000 now. Within 5 years writing, and my favorite quotes, the one who's making my signature, it's confidence, it's sexy. You want to seduce, you have to be sexy. And the way to be sexy is if you believe in yourself enough to be available. You have to believe in yourself enough to be able to put that aside and to make the conversation about the other person. So let's say that I'm shy. I go on stage. I am too self aware. I'm not available to connect.
mm,
Because of that, I'm not sexy. Okay. Instead of trying to fix that, confront that. Strip down naked in your mind, or start stripping down, see how people react, and then react with that. React to that. Uh, if you do this on stage, you be people will talk about that event for years to come. Make sure that you still keep something on you so you won't get arrested. But it is not just a mental trick. You can use that as a tip on stage. You go on stage and then you hit a wall. What do? Start removing a piece of floor with with some seduction, and people will just woo. They got it right there. They just gave you energy.
mm. So we
Yes.
use that
True.
energy to fuel to fuel what?
All of yourself.
All of ourselves.
Y- I think that everybody have watched the film Gladiator.
Yes.
Hmm.
Gladiator, when you first start, or Spartacus, the same. When they first started, they're not popular.
Spartacus.
Yeah, they're not popular. So people are screaming. But as they become love, it's kind of they grew in a way that it's like they become a giant. But because everybody was screaming for them, was cheering for them,
Hmm.
and when you're talking to a crowd on stage and the crowd is cheering for you, you have no idea of that, the power that you feel, that you empower there. So all you had to do was to be available again, to receive that energy, and to give it back. Because if you take that energy and you keep it for yourself, first of all, it's too much energy. Secondly, the crowd will not keep cheering you if you don't empower them. So it's a mirror game. You arrive on stage, you make sure that you break the ice as soon as possible to connect. Find your anchors. As you have a dialogue with different people, you know that because you're talking to three people at once, you are hot, right? Let's say that there's three people on the street looking to just connect with you. You're hot. So on stage, you're already hot. All you have to do was to be available to establish that connection and then to go with it. The more you're going to play with those connections, the more the crowd will get warmer and warmer until they too get hot. So let's say that you're there to make them laugh. If you're sure that anything you're gonna say will make people laugh, you will not hold anything back, right? You will not hold anything back. It's like, yeah, I'm having fun. It's easy, and those will be the best show ever. Now, if you stuck to your script, can be very good, but you haven't danced with the crowd, and so
Yeah,
then yeah,
that's
okay.
true.
So there's always a difference between when you go to a show, a live show, and then when you listen to that on a radio or you listen to that through a TV. There's an exchange of energy, and if you are aware of that, that energy is what will make you stand out or not.
You know what? You know what I like? I like that you mentioned the mirror. The mirror. First of all,
Mm.
I'd love to ask you because that's a concept that you've introduced to us first. I think it came out from a conversation that we had, Dr. Beck, you and I. First, I'd like you to talk about that concept to my audience first, and then tell us how we can apply to an audience of 300 or even on dating. I know I got that answer, but I'd love to for you to elaborate on that.
All right. So the theory of the mirror is every time. Okay, let me start by the beginning.
Mhm.
When two people meet, there's two things they can do. One, they're gonna connect, and the energy will go up, or they're gonna start comparing, and it's a question of time before the energy, the overall energy, goes down. So that's a rule that I haven't invented, but that's exactly how what happened when two people get together. Now, what will be a little different here for you, it's going to be for you to observe and also to understand as you move forward. But when two people meet and you're connecting, you're good. But when you're comparing, which is going to be a lot of the cases, one of the two will be the mirror to the other one. Let me explain. When you start comparing, um, sometimes jealousy will arise. Sometimes there's going to be people who's going to hate you and you haven't done anything. Mostly what they're hating is not you. It's what they see in you who remind them of them. So I call that the mirror effect. And you can play with that, but they're gonna be jealous of you for you. They're gonna be jealous of you because they see something they don't like. And it's always about themselves. That said, the person jealous is always the weakest of the two, right? That makes sense.
Absolutely.
In other words, when two people meet and one is the mirror to the other one, the weakest of the two will see themselves in the mirror. When the strongest of the two will be the mirror. And again, that's a social rule that nobody can you cannot go around that one unless you were connecting. Connecting is different. There's no mirror when you connect. So if you understand that concept when two people meet is if you see yourself in the other person, you know that you're in the presence of somebody who at that point was more confident than you are. At that point was stronger than you are. You can choose to be jealous, you can choose not to be jealous, but try to shake that away and try to connect. That will be easier because you'll be gaining energy. Now when you start comparing, it's just a question of time when the energy goes down and then you both of you waste your time. So to your first question, Nat, it's how do you use that effect on a crowd? First of all, if they bought the ticket to your show, you know they love you. There's expectation, but you know they love you. And if there's half of the room that is empty, you know that okay, you overshoot for the moon, but still the other half is still there for you. But they're having
Mhm.
doubts. See, "Hey, is this a good show or not?" So then you have to now you're self-aware of maybe you missed something. And I'm saying this because one of the time that one of the first time that I booked for myself, and people were getting to another term to hear me. Yeah, I did a lot of event, but this time was I was the anchor. I listened to my advisor, and I was like, yeah, I need this images. I book a room for 1,000 people. First event ever. Don't do that. Don't do that. But what happened is we were sold out. but half the people didn't show up. So when I
Okay.
arrive on stage and I am confident, I have fun. I wasn't drunk. I should have been drunk, and that would help. But I arrive on the scene, and then I look at. I was trying to find my anchors, but I cannot see the people. All I could see is the empty chairs, and that hit me on stage. And I
Uh,
know that for about a fraction of a second, because I have that. We were filming too. For a fraction of a second, I was kind of feeling very self-aware and naked, and not in a good sense. But then I said, okay, but if I focus on the empty chair, I'm gonna screw the people who came for me. And there were close to 300 and 400 people there in the room for me. It's a lot of people. So basically, what I did is I tried to refocus on the people who were there. It was harder for me to find my anchors because when you have a room that big, you have to kind of scan the room a lot to find people. But as soon as I established my anchors, things was going well, and we end up to have a wonderful evening. And to tell you that people were happy, it's from those 300 people who show up, about half stay after the show, and they stay about another hour asking questions. That was what kind of confirmed to me that whatever you do, as naked as you might feel, be yourself and connect with who show up. Play with what's available.
mm,
And as you're confident, people will just move on. They're gonna follow that confidence. If you was self-aware and say, "Oh yeah, I missed my shot," or nobody likes to follow a loser. Nobody likes to empower a loser.
No.
Self-pity is not good for anybody. So by then, if I know that you're gonna raise the question is, I act confident until I feel confident. But because there were 400, 300 people who showed up for me, it didn't take long before I felt that confidence back and that love coming back. And it was an eye opening event because I never knew that people would be showing up for me. There was a lineup. If I wasn't if I was not that ambitious, trying to reach that 1,000 from the first event, I would have a very good success to share. But I had to shoot for the moon. And again, today, if I can share with you that story, and I'm still laughing, I know that you're connecting with me because I'm
mhm.
sharing a weakness of mine. I'm showing vulnerability, and people like that. Because if all you're sharing is strength, people will think that that's just a facade, and they're gonna wait for where's the flaw. But when you start sharing your flaws, don't share all of your flaws at once, but you start by that. It's like you are trusting people. People like to be trusted. People like to be empowered with your secret. And as you go through that conversation, you feel that that flaw of yours or that weakness of yours, that embarrassment of yours was the best bridge to present to the other party to start a conversation, to start connecting.
Uh, that's good. That's a good point because I'm sometimes asking myself, where is the limit here? I mean, is there something as showing too much flaws? Is there something as showing too much vulnerability? And how to know?
I told you never to oversell, right? Make sure that people are coming back begging for more. So, what is too much? I'm thinking, let's say that we start a conversation and I share with you one of my flaw. We talk about it. We'll both laugh. And then you're looking at me. You're waiting for another flaw to come out. What do you think I'm going to tell you? Now it's your turn. I turn back the question to you. What I just did here is, yes, I protected myself, but it was just fair, right, in a conversation? And usually people are dying to talk. They just wait for the opportunity to do so in an environment that they feel secure. So the question is how much it's not. You're not giving a show unless you're on stage and you're monologuing. you want to leave the other person the space to speak.
Mhm.
Remember that by the end of
True.
the conversation, it wasn't what you said that person will remember. It was how about they felt in your presence. So if they
True.
talk, for sure they're gonna love you. Who hate themselves? Who hate themselves? Who hate to listen to their own voice? And really say, I don't like to hear my voice. But as soon as I give me the opportunity to express my opinion in my voice and I feel safe, man, I love you. So just think of that. You don't have to over deliver unless you're on stage. All you
Mhm.
have to do is to open the doors so the other person feels secure and then shut up.
Would you agree with um because I want to like I want to have a say on that question, but it's more about owning that vulnerability and not putting in a way that that makes I don't think first of all I don't think vulnerability is a weakness, but I think
Mhm. Me too.
that it's a tool or something that you open the door for people to be vulnerable as well. Would you agree with that or
No, because if you're saying this, that will mean that you're looking for a way to manipulate people. And that will always be a bad start. Look at this way. I'm saying weakness. Use, you know, people love to laugh. If you make joke about one person, you might it might not work. It's just like talking about the weather. But when you made a joke about yourself, people just out of just because they're polite, they're gonna stay and listen to you. And then if you make the joke and you laugh, people will laugh with you, at you. And this is how you create that sense of trust and confidence, sense of intimacy. It's because you had no problem stripping down and laughing about yourself. Who does that? People very confident.
right?
People who feel good about themselves. And what did I tell you? Confidence, it's sexy. Now, don't ask this from the other person. Because if you strip them down and they're not comfortable, you just screw your whole evening with that person. But throw them the ball. What about you? And as you feel that let's say that they're shy or they hide, I don't know, help them. Not to strip down. So, oh, come with me. I'll show you another story. But you get that person close to you because you want to know, you want to make sure that she knows that she's welcome or he knows that he's welcome. And being shy has no reason here. But you never want to force the hand of somebody. Now, you also have to look at the fact that sometimes some people will just be there to manipulate you. They listen to you, they judge you, they act as if they were your friend, but they're not. Those people, get them close to you. You feel that they don't want to be close to you. They will arrive and then they're going to step back. Because they're self aware that no, I don't want to be too close to that person. I don't like that person. I want to have fun with of that person. I want to make fun of that person. So it's a way to for you to use body language and your own body to understand who are your friends and who are not your friends within an audience. And this is not on stage. It's hard to do on stage, but on a close conversation, people are laughing. You just get your arms around somebody very respectfully. But those people who are gonna stay close to you and they're gonna love that, you feel that their body will tell you what their mouth haven't said to you. Somebody who's close playing with their cards very close to their chest. And you wanna know if are they shy or are they just here to make sure that they're gonna be there when you fall. Have them close to you and whatever the body is saying to you, listen to it. And don't try to gain somebody who hates you. That will never be a success.
Mhm.
Just move on. Move on to those who love you.
Mhm.
And thank you, Natasha, to bring this on. It's if you play the game of seduction, or I don't like to call it this, but if you're just looking to connect with people, your pitfall is judging people. Everybody likes to judge, or every judge. I don't consider they like to judge. Everybody judge out of habit. I have a son. He is now 12, but I started writing books with him as he were 8. so he's kind of my psychic. Thanks to him, I'm having that many books because every time I finish a book, say I want more. So that would tell you the relationship we have between father and son. But I got a quote out to teach him about life, saying that every time that you judge, you are chipping away a little part of your soul. Say that again. I'm gonna say it again and listen to it. Every time that you judge, you're chipping away a little piece of your soul. And that is so true. You can judge silently, but you're not enjoying that moment. When you judge people,
Mhm.
you don't feel good. You're just trying to, you're bullied by the crowd. Or you
Yeah.
try to bully people from the crowd to think the way you think. You haven't connect with anybody unless you were just connecting with that spirit of bullying somebody who's weaker. Well, how about seduction here? You won't be seducing anybody, judging, unless again you are hiding away and then you use somebody else's weakness to gain popularity. But that will never last for long. So basically, if you're looking to seduce and you're looking to do that again and again, please don't judge anybody. If you really have to judge somebody, judge yourself, and that's called
Yeah.
joke about yourself. You want to create that safe environment where people can feel safe and will share. Sharing means connecting. If you're not sharing, you're not connecting. So then you look at the mirrors. That's remind me that you asked me a question about how do you use the mirror in a crowd. Those people, the anchors, are those people talking to you. The rest of the crowds are your mirror is your mirror. So if you feel you see a lot of light coming back to you, and this kind of it's a trick that always works. If you're on stage, you have light coming to you. Look at the lights, so you know that you are shining. Act as if you are shining, and that's gonna be easier. I And the other question was about how do you use that mirror effect when you are seducing somebody. If you're seducing somebody and you see yourself in the mirror, you're screwed. If you're seducing somebody and then you are the mirror to the other person, you're screwed also. Because seduce somebody is looking to connect with somebody. So when you see mirror and say, okay, now it's a bad start, how can we start over or move on? But if you want to seduce, comparing is not the way to go. If you have a mirror, either it's you or the other person, you're not in the right company. And just to try to break you want to break the ice. You don't want to break a mirror ever. So
That's
just
bad
move on.
luck. That's bad luck.
That's that's great because at first, I mean, long time ago, I thought that seduction was a form of manipulation, but clearly it's not. But I think you pretty much answered this question that I had about how not to talk about seduction anymore and to how do we seduce without seducing? I mean, but I think that pretty much it's about confidence and make people feel safe and connect with them. Is that is it what you think actually, or what you meant? If we don't want to talk about seduction anymore and just, I mean, seduction to me it looks like something that is not forced, not fake, but something natural.
So are you saying, if I'm being clear, just to clarify, are you asking that it's not playing a role? Seduction is more a natural
Mm,
thing rather than playing a role. Is that it?
exactly, exactly. And is this a way to not talk about seduction anymore and just be
I think you're very right on that. It's we speak in English from the beginning. If I was self-aware that I speak in English, I won't be talking to you. I'll be thinking about what I'm saying, the words I'm saying. And that
mhm,
wasn't what we did. I use English as a medium to share with you an experience, opinions, even knowledge, you want to call that. and we connected on that knowledge. So English was just the medium, but it wasn't important. I think it's the same with seduction. Seduction, it's a tool, or it's kind of a side effect. If I'm connecting to you, I'm talking to you, I am connecting with you, and you feel good. By the end of the day, you say, "Yeah, I felt very good with that person." A third person said, "Yeah, you got seduced," but that wasn't the intent of that conversation. The intent was to connect. So, and then we use that example of that salesperson. That person has to sell by the end of the day. He has to sell. If not, he's going to get fired. But if he's too aware of that, he will never pass that plan, and then everything will be about selling or seducing. He's connecting with you. Make sure that you deliver your needs, you open up, and then say, "Oh, based on that need, is it okay if I help you? Is it okay if I make your life easier?" What will we say? "Oh, please."
Mhm.
And then say, "Oh, but it's gonna cost you." No, no problem. You have no idea how much that pain was dragging me down, and then you keep talking. The more you talk, the more you're selling yourself to that solution. It was a fair game. So use this as an extreme example because somebody who's trying to sell you something. But when you seduce, let's say in the context of a bar, you see somebody you like. What are you selling? You're selling yourself. You're selling the promise of a good time. It's still selling. If you are a hypocrite and I don't want to sell, there's no reason being there because you need to connect, and to connect, you have to sell. If you want sex by the end of the night, you have to sell yourself. And selling,
That's closing the deal.
but it's kind of there's no exchange of money here. But you know what I mean. It's you have to be comfortable opening up. You have to be comfortable leaving something on the table because you're exchanging. And sometimes you have to give before you can receive. So it's the same
Mhm.
here. So to your question, how can you seduce without seducing? So how can you speak English? We don't care about speaking English. It's what do you have to say? To whom
Mhm.
you're going to say that? If you're right to that point, seduction will be kind of a side effect or a trail of everything that you say to people anyway. So we started this, and again, I have to thank you that I will never have thought of writing a book about seduction. But since you brought this on table and I'm on air now, I have nothing to lose anymore. I'm already naked. Um, I forgot my idea.
See, you got distracted.
I forgot my idea.
Welcome to the Woman Up Show.
It will come. But actually, you have to listen to the next show. So I can.
Exactly. You have to be back.
No, I'm getting old here. So please ask for your next question, and this will come back. But what was your question again? It wasn't that far. The question
It
was,
was about it was about seducing without seducing, and
You were saying you mentioned about not it's not about the language, but to deliver the message. When you it's like when you go to the bar, you still have to sell yourself. At the end of the day, no, is it coming back?
"Hey, how you doing?" I'm getting old here. Maybe we'll come back. I'm
mhm.
sorry, I lost my line of thought here.
It's all good. That was a good segment.
That's good. That's all good, but
Let's take a
I
break.
think that I
All right, we're back. Let's get some mojo up. So, is it okay if we get more energy into this?
Yes, let's get it popping.
All right. So,
but
quiz, go ahead. Ask your question. Let's keep the energy up.
Natasha, now I think that we can talk about naked being naked and everything. You talk about uh uh romance and seducing people. Matt, I mean, we can enter the conversation with romance and heat up a little bit the atmosphere. What do
Sure.
you think?
Yeah, you know what? That track actually is Mojo, so I like the fact that you brought that up. Well, you know what? I'm gonna ask you, Mel. Are you a? You know, You said it that you shared that you were timid. You were a shy girl.
Yeah.
But are you shy to approach a man romantically in a context of romance, of dating, whatever? Are you shy to approach a man? Because me, I
Actually,
don't want. I have to work on that, but
actually, actually, I always thought that I was a shy girl, but I'm not. Let's say to answer the question directly, it depends
of the context or of the man.
of the man.
Tell me
I
more.
don't know. It's more about them. Sometimes you feel that it's not inviting, but it is open and to 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 conversation, and you feel a kind of energy that is positive to you. You can speak to him. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but
Okay, so
sometimes
let me
I
put you in context.
actually
Let me
okay.
put you in context. We talked about being in a bar. Okay, so let's say you go to the bar, you see the guy, he's fun as hell. What do you do? Do you wait in your corner or do you go and ask or open a conversation? I know I would.
I'm sure you, but in the context and the vibe of a bar, I'm pretty sure, knowing myself, I won't go.
Okay, so
I don't
let's say,
know.
what about networking events? Networking events.
Yes, I would, because I don't know. It's about the context of networking events and making the first move to speak with that guy. I would. And surprisingly, knowing that I'm a shy girl, I'm always the one who make the first move of speaking to the guy. It's weird, huh? I know, but I'm always the one because it's not a romantic and sensual contrary to the bar. I don't know if you know what I mean. But
Understand,
when
because
it
the
comes
context
to
is business, right?
yes,
But I
yes,
think it's
exactly. When the contact is a business, I have no problem. But when it's love, no, I don't think I would be the one who's make the first move.
What I can tell you, Melissa, on this is you see somebody you like, and that person will have a way to know that. You can feel that in the air. The longer you wait to approach that person, the more intimidating that will be.
Yeah.
So, if you want my and keep that in mind. The other thing is, let's go back to high school. And at high school, some people are more outgoing than the other people. But when you look at guys, it's easier. When you look at three guys holding the beer in their hands over there and looking at the dance floor, can you see how loser that is? And they
Mm.
think they're cool with the beer in their hand because that's the first beer they ever took. To me, I pictured that, and I'm not saying that I'm better. I was that guy for a long time. You see somebody you like, you don't go speak to that person. The longer you wait, the more intimidating it is for you, and so the harder it is for you. And the longer you wait with your beer in your hand, you look like a loser. It's going to make even more embarrassing, and the wall is even taller. So if you look at this, that's your alternative. Let's say that you see somebody coming in, whatever reason you're shy, you're scared, whatever. The longer you wait, the less chance you have of connecting with that person. But the problem will be that by the end of that night, you're at home saying, "Wow, I should have go talk to that person. That person was nice. That
Yeah.
was hot." Or the worst thing can happen. You see that person leave the bar with somebody half of your qualification. I know that we don't like to give numbers, but guys do that. You're there and say that, okay, I'm a 7, I'm a 8, and this that girl, she's a 9. If she leaves the board with a 10 and say, okay, that's fine. I would have lost that fight. She leaves the board with a 4. Fuck. But what happened is you put yourself there. You think that you're an 8 or a 7 or a 6, but the longer you wait with your beer in your hand, looking at her and kind of judging her, your value is melting by the second. And this is in the context, but let's say that let's bring that in business. People at bar wants to meet people. People at bar are looking for a hookup. Is that gonna be sex or not? That's depend on the chemistry. But they are not there if they were not looking for that. And the people not
True.
available, they are there talking to their friends already. So it's obvious. So you mentioned that if you're in the context of a business networking event, that's the same. People were there, they were looking to hook up, but not in a sexual sense. They were looking to hook up in a business sense. And plus some benefit if that can happen. And give some alcohol, everything will happen. That said, keep in mind that if you were not open to connect, you will not be at that bar or at that event.
True.
It's silly to show up at those events and say, I'm not connecting or I'm shy.
True.
And remember that the longer you wait with your beer in your hand,
Mm.
your value is melting by the second. So if you like me and you know how to count, man, I don't even see people. I arrive at a bar and I start connecting with the first person in front of me, and the second and the third. Sometime you connect with the wrong people. You arrive at the bar and those three losers arrive there and I connect with them. But connecting with them, and you don't want to stay there too long. But if you just arrive, you connect with them, everybody's so happy for a little moment. The energy was rising up because most people are there around with the glass in the hand or the beer in the hand and they're looking and they're judging. You're rising up because you took three people who were losers. You didn't know that, but they were losers. You arrive, you have fun, and then you move on. People will like to join that vibe because they know that the longer they stay outside of that vibe, they are losers too. And then you move on. So that's what I do when I arrive to an event. There's two things. If you see me very quiet in the back, that means I want to leave as soon as possible. But I was forced somehow to be at that event. That was the old me. And sometimes this habit is coming out. When you get older, some things, the bad habits are just resurfacing. But usually, when I go to an event today and I have to show up, I'm going to be there for 2 hours. Usually, I'm so tired. I'm always busy. I don't want to be at any event, but I'm there already. Rather make the most out of it. So you see me arriving, and the first one I see, I don't care who that is. I'll be exchanging a handshake. I'll be trying to connect. If the conversation is not too interesting, I will excuse myself because somebody else. And I go to the other person. Now I shake their hand because the idea of people being there was to connect.
Mm.
Sometime, and you were with me at an event that I think that opened the eyes of most of us. The best friends I have at the events, I never approach them. We met each other by the end of it because the idea of an event, it was not to just have fun with the people you already knew. It's to meet with new people. So it's come back to the fact that if you are available and you know why you're there, you also have a good idea of what the other person is looking for. Give that to that person. So let me hold your hand and go to this one. You're at a bar and you see somebody you like, and that person is alone. You know that okay, in your case, he is at the bar because he is looking for company. You are there and you're looking for company. So you are both available, at least at that moment.
Mhm.
You're at a bar. What do people do at bar? They drink.
Drink.
So either you have a drink or you don't, and then you approach to order a drink. So usually the place where the people will connect in the bar is where you buy the drinks. It's okay to be there, right? It doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
So let's say that that person has a drink, you don't. Approach him, say, "Oh, what are you drinking? I will have a glass if you don't mind." It's aggressive, but you just tell that person that he's worth your attention. Put this
Mm.
another way, you just flatter him, just as you did when you said, "Dr. Bag, I want to learn seduction from you." Man, I look sexy. I feel sexy. Give that to the other person. Give them the opportunity to be a hero. You'll be surprised how many people you be scoring like that? And we're just talking about, a pickup. Approach that person, say, "Well, what are you drinking? I would love for you to buy me one of those glasses." If it says no, you have your answer. Move on and cut your loss. You you just give that person, and he feels important.
That's like a woman dropping her handkerchief. You give that opportunity to be it to the
Yes, but
kind of
it's still you dropping your keys, and it's still not. It's not clear. You're
okay.
there. Go there, and there's no way for you to deny that. Wow, what are you drinking? That looks good. Can you, can you buy me a drink? And you don't look poor. Okay, if you look poor, that's another problem. But you're there. You took half the night to prepare for that. And yes, what are you having? You just gave that person the chance to shy. He might
Wow.
he maybe was
Yeah.
shy before, but then you open other doors. After
Hmm.
that, connect, exchange. Now, if you're a guy, go say that to a woman that is not working. But what I'll do is, oh, excuse me, is somebody here? And I have to be honest. There's many space here, but I couldn't take my eyes out of you. How do you do that? How do you make sure that you're the center of attraction? And then you don't talk about sex. You don't talk about what you feel, because the more you talk about what you feel, the more you show that you're insecure. Ask her. No, but put her on a platter and say, how do you do that? How do you put so many energy in you so you're growing and you're attracting people? Because I was here, and honestly, I was kind of intimidating to go talk to you, but I look at everybody else. Everybody was intimidating. So I said, fair play. I'll go to you. And right now, even if you don't like me, can you just spend 5 minutes with me? So for the rest of the people, I look very good. You use your own weakness to make her laugh, even if she has no interest in you. What the rest of the crowd saw that you make her laugh. You're a hero now. And with this, that's a game, right? But you have enough to start building your confidence, to start setting your vibe. But what's the alternative? It's for you to stay in the corner saying, yeah, she's pretty, but no, she wasn't the best. You try to excuse yourself not to go speak to that person, and then you somebody else, and then you have a boring evening. I should have stayed home, look at Netflix. I didn't want to go out. So I think we all have those kind of evenings. The If I was summarize this, you're there for a reason already. You're spending your time, your resource, your money, do something with it. At least have to try to have some fun. Even if people reject you, there's a way to have fun with this.
Absolutely. I agree that.
You know,
So
you
basically
know,
we don't you don't focus on the outcome. You just go with the flow pretty much.
mm,
I listen to what you're saying about what I'm saying, and I should be focused more on my goal because I will get laid much more.
And
but you know what?
we had that conversation, Mel, earlier today, about women doing that step, you know,
Yes.
to make that move, to make
Yes.
that to approach men. Because nowadays, I don't know about you, Mel, but nowadays we don't have the same. The quality of men that we have now is are not the same. It's not the same as like old days. They don't approach us. They shy away. Now
They don't.
we have to
They
make the
don't.
move. Now we have to instigate the
Yeah.
conversation. We have to put them on. We have to open the conversation. Literally,
Exactly right.
You're claiming for equal rights, right?
yeah.
There you
But
go.
I knew it was something like this, but we feel like we have to do everything, like all the work. But um, Natasha, uh, to answer the question that you had earlier, it's I think that the fact that I was so, I mean, I didn't want to approach a man like this romantically. I mean, it's because I know that in my head, uh, I will feel like a chaser. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but I am so not a chaser that I'm afraid to look like thirsty. So how do you show your interest to the opposite sex without without sounding thirsty.
I think it's just opening, like we mentioned earlier, it's just opening that is offering that opening. It's just open the door, but not saying, yeah, you should come in. Yeah, pretty much you should come in. Not It's not about encouraging anybody to um to come in actually, but it's just to offer that opportunity. Why are you laughing?
I can see the image.
Huh?
I can see the image. No, I think
On a
that
male perspective,
no, no.
Dr.
I
Bag.
actually Mel.
Yes,
No, I
on a
think that you
male.
have to make up your mind. Do you want somebody or you don't want somebody? You cannot just be there to see. Let's see how it goes. So if you're there and you want sex, it has to be clear in your mind. If you're there just so you want to drink, that's clear. It has to be clear. If you're there, all you want to be is to have a good time and to go home alone. It has to be clear. You cannot just decide to see how the vibe will go because sometimes all the signs are there, everything's good, and you're not ready. That's it. If you know what you want, now you're confident enough to put that aside and to be available to invite the other person.
Mm.
And since the dawn of time, how many different ways do we have create to seduce or to have sex? I know that there's Kama Sutra, but by the end of the day, it's I don't know of more than maybe three or four ways to do that. And if you don't get into those ways, people will. I mean, the reporter will ask, "What's wrong?" So it's okay to need to feel desire. It's okay to have the need to say, "I'm horny today." Now you have to read the room. You have to read your audience. Is the other person available? Is the other person wants the same thing as you want? The worst thing that can happen is for you to try to have somebody to have something from somebody who does not want what you want. I'm here. I'm married. I'm not sure if I want an affair. There's an available woman in front of me. So if she is too shy, I will say that, oh yeah, there was no chemistry. If she's too aggressive, so I'm not sure. It's make up your mind. Why are you here? And if you use this, it's an extreme example, but use this in a networking event. You're there to exchange your business card. You're there to make new connection. But then you just speak to the people you already knew. Does that make sense? Make up your mind. And unfortunately, I know, ladies, you're right on this. In nowadays, and this is not just male or female, a lot of people always show up with fantasy, but they haven't make up their mind. And they finish having always the same story night after night around the same people night after night saying that I'm not lucky. You set yourself up.
That was deep. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, really.
So
But
let's go back to your question, Natasha, because I think that we have a book to write. How many questions do you have left?
Because we're all writing a book at the end of this, right? At the end of this, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
yes, but it's really about. Do you have questions, Natasha, about this romance thing?
This romance thing, I think you like the heat, eh? I think you like the spice.
Well, this is why I kept the romance for the last for the last thing for the last part.
She has a book to write. She got the answer to the last part, but she's too shy to ask about
Yeah,
that. She
girl,
wants you to ask about it.
that's
No,
That's
every.
how you read
I
the
have
room.
question.
That's exactly
No,
what
no,
happens all the time. Listen, that's exactly the vibe that I'm always getting. People like the female that I speak to. They don't. They stay quiet until I I well I finally guess what they're trying to say. So, but now where you're on my podcast, you're home. You
Okay.
say whatever, and I think Dr. Back is the more the more open doctor ever. So might as well just enjoy the time that we have right now.
Okay.
But go ahead. You
Okay.
know that there's some young
Let's
people listening
let
to this after, huh?
It's all good.
let's talk about men and how they feel. Let's talk about men. Yeah. you said it earlier previously, Natasha, about the women now. We don't have the kind of men that we had, and yes, they're pretty much waiting for the woman to make a move. That's what feel actually. But what do men feel about romance and being seduced? Is this too much?
You talk
I mean,
about
is it
men being seduced.
yes by women? I mean, what the what how do they feel about that?
I love that.
I think they like they enjoy the
It's
attention.
it's this is the cherry on top of the sundae. It's instead of you having to do the work, you have somebody who's open the door and say, "Oh, please seduce me," or "You are worth my time." So it's about empowerment. You know that woman needs to feel desire, right?
Yep.
So does man.
So how can we? How do we?
Okay.
How do we approach this? How do we approach a man? And
Yes.
what's the proper way to go about that? Because you know what, I'm in the middle of two generations right now, and honestly,
Mm.
it's
I want.
conflicting right now in my head, and honestly, I don't know how to go
Okay.
about this.
Let's approach each of you in a real story.
I love
Natasha, the
it.
first time I met you,
Yes.
I was at a conference. I was hungry. I didn't know what I was doing there, but some of my friends said, that, "Oh, please come in." And I wasn't a speaker. I was not even part of this. I was just okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say polite, and but I had a long day and I was hungry, so I wasn't connecting. And then you approached me by the night. Oh, Dr. Back, I'm Natasha. I heard you, and I want to connect with you. Why you?
You were my target, so let's put
Okay,
that in.
cool. So you went for me. How you think you make me feel?
Value.
Yeah, I feel value. I feel important. And then I remember a connection, and I, I think that you and I keep it alive since. That said, in your mind, you are approaching somebody who said, "Oh, maybe he won't be open to me. Maybe he's gonna reject me." But it was actually the opposite. You make me feel welcome. You make me feel having my sense of worth, empowerment. We weren't connecting for sex. You did even more. Because after sex, after that night, yeah, that will be it, and then we're gonna move on. You keep this on for 5 years, and now look at who we are today.
Yeah.
Now, this is just to answer your question: is that too aggressive? I don't think nothing is too aggressive here. You have to read your room and the audience before you ask a question. We're here today because somebody asked me, "Doug, I want to write a book. I want to learn. What do you know about seduction?" Again, how you think you make me feel saying that? So, is it too aggressive? It wasn't too aggressive. It was flattering because it was genuine. Think of this way. You're not looking to seduce, you're not looking to win or to lose. You're looking to make the other person feel good.
Good.
If you do that, you're already marking a point in the right direction.
So does it mean that like in a dating or in a romantic context, I could go ahead and approach a man like this? Like just go like straight and just presenting
Mm.
myself. Yeah, because
Okay,
for us,
a way for you to do this, and if you don't want to be too aggressive, if you approach a man and you put your hand completely all with all your palms on his shoulder or on his back, and you leave it there, and then you ask him a question. You haven't done anything that it was too aggressive, but he knows that you have interest in him. And the whole time you were talking, your hand, the whole palm, is pressed against his back. It's nothing sexual here.
so I hold my hand on that on
Yeah,
his back. Damn.
you're showing him that you want a connection with him.
Let's get physical, physical.
And if you want a way to approach this and say that I'm no slots or whatever we use this day, it's you do this, you have just established a real connection, and the other person he might be too confused to understand what you were saying because all he said, "Oh, she has her head in my back, and he's still here," and now we're talking normally as people. Who does that? Think with me. Who does that? If I go with the bar with my girlfriend or with my wife, I'm gonna have my hand on her legs, right? I won't feel much, but this is a way to say that she's my wife. If you do this to a new person you just meet, well, that's something else. But maybe on a leg, that's gonna be too aggressive. Use the back. Now, if you understand body language and you're there already, and this is a way for you to have to keep your class. If you touch a person on the shoulder, that's just showing that you are looking to create a safe connection.
Mhm.
If you leave that contact for a long time, that's mean that you feel comfortable keeping the connection along. Now you talk and the connection heats up. Slide your hands slowly down his back. Now the heat is on. And never you have done something saying that you're a slut.
I was just inviting or instigating, right?
You were talking with your body. And that was a promise. The promise is not sex. The promise is
Mhm.
intimacy.
I have so many things to try, huh?
But women, you can do that. Men, please make sure that you read the audience first.
True that.
I thought I was bringing
Okay.
the heat, but it looks like Mike has some tricks in his pocket.
I have something else. Let's say that you meet someone, okay, you do your little thing, and you get the guy. Okay, actually, you with the guy and everything. You're in a relationship, serious relationship, and everything. How do you make seduction last in the couple, and to prevent the flame from dying out? Like, how do you hold temptation? Years? Is it something possible?
Now, do I speak for a book or you want me to speak from the heart?
Speak from the
From
heart.
the heart. From the heart, please.
Make sure you keep your man heart, and that's how the flame of the relation will go. Now, if that is just from the first few nights together and that goes away, you know that the chemistry is not there. And to be aroused when you first meet somebody, it's easy. That's how nature builds us up. To keep that going on as you are now um, very comfortable with the fact that that person will always be there with you. For men, make sure you always keep that person hard. And I'm saying this with the classist way I can be. I can talk, but being a man, for as long as my hormones or my juice is flowing, I will not look elsewhere. If that goes dry, it's a question of time before everything you said, fidelity about a man has a way to function. We are all animals by the end of the day. And everybody say that we're not animals. I think that person is shooting himself in the legs because it's we are built that way. But if you ask me to keep a connection running, and if you go through the hormones, I don't want to get there because I've been there
Yes,
so often.
that
But
was my next question. So go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. So
you know,
you're
okay,
master of hormones.
love is not the same hormone as sex. And in a society that we are building up, it's like
Oh,
we've been sold a lie, being that sex and love goes together. That's not true. Sex and reproduction goes together.
Is that on a biological
that's
standpoint or
Yeah, biology
that's
standpoint.
okay?
that's
And when you
interesting.
love somebody, it's not the same set of hormone. So the obvious here is when you in love, usually the strongest hormone you'll be having is oxytocin. This is how you feel. So when you're so much in love, you say, I don't need sex anymore. I'm just feeling great being with you, Nikado. That's oxytocin. And that's fine. That's go well for a while. But testosterone in a man, what's gonna keep your man hard, is not the same hormone at all. So this will answer a lot of the question of those ladies saying, my husband said that he loves me, but then he has to sleep around just because he's going on oxytocin with you, but the testosterone was dry with you. Now, women, it's harder to understand because you do have needs, but it's not the same hormones. It's not as clear. And women can go on oxytocin for a long time and feel very complete and fine. But when you feel the need to be desired, what do you think happened? You're horny. And the difference between you and us, it's you might feel horny a few days or a week in a month because of your biology, when men feels horny all the time. So be just put yourself in our shoes, saying that we have to stay in our track all the time when we always feel horny. Um, some will not last for long, or it's a question of time before most of them will just go RL, and we judge that. We have religion who put labels and everything, and we will think that we're sinners. Half of our marriage today end up in divorce. We think that half of the people are bad people. No, it's miss we have overlooked the fact that our body it's governed by hormones. And to bring this back to the subject of this book about seduction, I gave you that key from the beginning. You are there to make the other person feel good about themselves. When you are two strangers meeting, sexual hormones it's free. That's how our body is built. Just make sure that you put the other person in a stage where they can freely feel the sexual hormones without feeling guilty. So let's say that not we know that Melissa is very shy, and if I approach too aggressively to her, she won't feel any sexual hormones. All she'll be feeling is she's threatened. Now she needs to flee or to fight. Wrong set of hormones. But if I make her feel comfortable, she won't feel oxytocin. She doesn't love me. It's impossible she love me, not from first sight. But if I make her feel comfortable, and she was there to connect, somehow she
Mm,
was horny. You allowed that to just take over. You're good. Some people will make people laugh. Some people will just talk. Some people will listen. Whatever works. Make sure that you are putting the other person in a stage where their own hormones will be doing the work for you. So basically, we're just talking about the same concept of seduction, but now from an hormone standpoint, if you at a bar, the woman was ready to mate. If not, you won't
mm,
be at the bar. Now, would you be the winner or not? That depends on how can you make sure that that woman will feel that in your presence. Now, this is the where the magic come in. Your woman, you know that you want something, but you're insecure, you're not sure, and you haven't made up your mind, like most of us. You at the bar, so you make your step already. You took half the day to prepare. You take the other half to say that do I go or not going, and then by then you go anyway, and you sit down. The whole point was to meet somebody, right?
mm,
And this is obvious because you're there. Then you you wait for somebody to approach you, and the minute they approach you, you say, "Oh no, thank you," or "I'm waiting for somebody," or "I'm not available." You are screwing yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. The man is there also to find company, looking for happiness, if we can call it that way. The man doesn't need that. Actually, he still needs you to empower him, but his hormone is flowing already. Yours sometime or not, or maybe they are, and just like you said, you're scared of showing them because you be looking too aggressive or too available. Nature, and let's the way that nature is built. Some males will sing very well. We'll talk about birds here. They sing so well just to seduce a female. Some insect will be very pretty just to attract a mate. So there's nothing wrong here about expressing that you are available. about showing that your interest. And for the party who's the hunter, to use Melissa words, it's make sure to crave a safe environment that the other party have a chance to feel her own hormones. Because whatever you say will not make her feel horny or not. It's usually what you don't say. That you allow that space to rise up, and that will be it. And you know those scenarios in the film that you have a super hot guy coming with a super hot girl. Ask those people, and sometimes that's dry because they're expecting that. There's no magic. There's no spark. They just look good in front of the other people. Everybody has those needs. Everybody at a bar, it's halfway there already. Just make sure that you deliver what the other person was expecting. And I'm not even talking about sex yet. We're not. You haven't even left the bar. So if you want to drill this down to seduction, you have to read your room. You have to be available, and you have to deliver. In a bar, you know the person is looking for company. Provide her a secure environment, and the company will last for a long time. In a business setting, the other person is looking to connect, so they might expand the network. Do that. Tell them what you are worth. Tell them what you can do for them, and then exchange your business card. Also, make sure that you give them the opportunity to do the same. If you're just there and talking about you the whole time, they will take your card and will just throw it away,
Mm,
right?
true.
Make sure that the other person also feels value.
I love that.
Love that too. Yeah.
I didn't know I knew that much.
Hey,
But
we're here to
but can
squeeze everything, eh? So,
but can we go back a few minutes to the woman you said about you said love and sex, and I just want to understand it better because I hear it all the time, and since there is a man in front of me, I want to ask a question. I want it to be clear. Um, she said that love and sex are two different things. I mean, from a male man perspective, but I feel like as a woman,
From a biology perspective, not a man.
but biology perspective, sorry, but I women might be different because I feel like when I love somebody, I'm as well attractive sexually, but always
Oh,
comes
you tell me you never been attracted to somebody where you didn't feel any love yet? You just
no,
feel the heat.
no. That's why I want to understand that part that you just explained. Maybe I'm the only woman
You know,
that's I don't know.
some things are hard to explain unless you have experienced it. But I'm pretty sure that most of the audience here can relate to the fact that sometimes you just feel attracted to somebody without knowing that person. And sometimes you see that that person is not even looking as good as I think, but you just feel attracted because that person was available and you were too. That's not love. That's not because we use sex also to kind of force our identity. If I can sleep with somebody who's pretty, I worth more, or I'm rich, or that's not the purpose of sex. Sex was to connect and to reproduce. Even that gets screwed a little bit with everything that we have in our modern life. So today, sex is about validation. If you want to bring this to the bottom line, with everything that we have to protect ourselves, and sex is not just a way to reproduce, sex is validation. We use sex to see what are we worth, how much can I score, how high can I score. And the problem is now sex is about you. That's bad sex. If you want
wow.
good sex, sex was
Oh,
about the other person, right?
It's about giving.
And take that literally if you want. But if in the sex, everything that came out of that was you, your need, Your validation, you're just having a one night stand.
It was a one man show, pretty much.
Mm, I understand. I get it.
And this is it's good for women and men. If sex is about validation to you, that's fine. But that's maybe how you're getting so many of those dates that are dry and say that this is not the same as
Mm-hmm.
before. What is in the movie is not real.
Mm.
As you were not available. You might be very lucky that you look good looking, so that animal part of yourself did the work for you. But that was it. Now, in your question, Melissa, is the opposite. Say that I cannot feel attracted to anybody unless I feel genuine love. Mm, because you brought that up, it's because you are trying to see everything from your head. And maybe your hormones, because no, women have more control. That's it's been known. Women,
Yeah.
the hormones of hormones, the hormones of women will not take over as much as the hormone of a man. When a man is hard, it's hard for him to think, and it's not just because of this blood flow. Everything in him, his hormones, it's everything. It's direct to the fact that now he has to do what he was programmed to. And I'm not excusing the man here, but this is how a man or a male is built. A female, biologically speaking, have two sexual hormones, not one. And those are unclear to us the way they work. But we all know that once a month, you will feel the desire to mate. And after that, you hate men. Because when you are in your period, you have all men get on your nerves. They can be as handsome as they want, they can be as cut, but no, that stupid boy or whatever. That was your body saying that you're not available. The problem now is when you're taking the rest of the time and you base everything on validation, it was about you.
Wow.
You were not available.
Mm.
And the same for men. But actually, men, it's they are always horny. So
Yeah.
you just have to take that into account.
Do you ever unplug that battery or what?
Actually, if you unplug that battery, you're dead. What
Okay.
makes a man is this, I, I have a little boy. He was, he is, he was, and he will be my best friend. I spend so much time with him because I write books with him. But I can tell you that being close with him, I can see, even smell when he came from a little boy being a man. And it's not because he got taller. It's because his dose of testosterone start acting out. And then you feel that it's not just his voice changing, it's not just that he start having to grow a mustache, is he start to have interest into something else. The way he sees life is different. So you know that age of innocence that was gone.
Mm.
Her even his mom noticed that. Before we can spend the whole night all three in the bed, there was no problem. Eventually, she said that was weird. Somehow, she smelled his sex hormone going up, and that's how we are built. Now, my son is very sweet. He never tried to play with those hormones yet, but he is changing. And for those who are parents, you can see that with that, there's going to be a smell coming out of your boy. Not saying that he smelled bad, but now he has a smell that is very different than the milk smell that you have at the beginning. It's like, oh, it's a baby, it smells so good. Again, you can wash yourself 3 times a day. That smell will still be there because it's part of you. So what I'm trying to say here is the best way to screw yourself is to not to understand how you're built. The best way to lie to yourself is to deny your own desire. I'm not
Ooh.
telling you that you have to sleep with every woman
Okay.
every time you're hard, but what I'm saying here is you have to understand how you're built and go with it. At least not confront it. And the woman the same. I think that most women, you are lying to yourself because I don't need man, blah 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 blah, until you really need man and you can just throw yourself at any man. I think that both extreme are not good. But for as long as you can make peace with that, you know who you are, and you're not always available, but still you can play with that. There's no craving. It's easier to keep balance. I always say control, but I don't like the word to keep balance. If you want to seduce, you have to be in control. But to be in control, you have to balance who you are, your needs, and also the what's available, right? You you have to deal with what's on the table or what's on the audience.
Mm,
There's no recipe here. The recipe is to understand who you are, go with it, and then be available to understand who the other person is.
mm. Nice.
Hey, I don't sound like a victim anymore.
No, we feel you very empowered, eh? Now he's like,
I
yeah.
wish I knew this when I was 18.
That's good. That's good to know. That's good. Good information for us.
Yes.
So we spoke about do not deny your own desire, and you know what? That's
Yes.
something that women we tend to do that very
Yes.
very often.
Yes. Very.
We don't own our desires.
No, that's why.
If I may, ladies, a word of advice, and I'm saying that just being one man here, and I'm in minority, so you know that you have the power, but also allow yourself to understand that whoever you sleep with does not defy who you are. Even if you're looking for validation, doesn't mean that your man defines who you are, or your one night stand define who you are. You define who you are,
That's good.
and for too long, the way that we've been shaped by society, by religion, women have been defined by who they're sleeping with,
Yes.
much more than men. And I think that this is very damaging. It's something that is not true. It's something that is playing with your own confidence.
Mm.
And if there's one thing coming out of it, it's just going to make you crave for even more validation.
True.
Whoever you sleep with does not carry it does not carry that power to define who you are. You can have a bad one night, you're still the same person, right?
Right.
You can have a great one, and if you lost that person, you lost that person. And when we
Yes.
talk about having sex, and I'm a man, so it's easy for me to say, but before, when a man have sex with a woman, the problem is if the woman is pregnant, you have to bear that consequence for the rest of your life, or at least for a while. Now we know that sex today is not strictly reproducing. Sex is having a contact between two people and having all those hormones, cocktails hormones, just bursting in your veins. Basically, you and the man are sharing the same thing, the same experience from different point of view, but the same experience. Doesn't mean that a man who's doing that is any less worthy or more worthy, right? The
Mm.
same with you. It's not who you sleep with who's going to define you. You decide to define yourself.
This is something powerful that all women should hear, actually, because a lot of women are struggling with that part still,
About what? About
about the fact that they define themselves with the men they're sleeping with. And if something happens, they are crushed down by this event that happened, this one night stand or this thing.
but wouldn't you agree that it's more women of our generation or older that were brought up that way? Because right now, what I'm seeing, like when I'm seeing like those 20-ish girls, I mean, it's less. Uh, sex is less intentional, or I don't want to say meaningful, but it's just that it's just, how can I say this? It's more for the sake of doing it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It's almost like
yes.
a male person, like,
So yes, totally. I understand what you mean.
No,
Yes.
no, come on. Okay,
yeah,
well, we're here
Yeah.
as with that open mind of having respect to male and female the same, right?
yes, totally.
So
Yes.
basically, a male has to discover his body, a woman the same, or girl the same. A man is having pleasure out of having sex. I think that most women will have the same answer. Doesn't mean that you actually, if you spend your life with have never experienced sex, you miss on something. So if you see it that way, it's the way you want to approach it. And for as long as you're not having a baby out of it, it was fun. When you're ready to have a baby, that's different, and even the hormones there it will be different. The act is the same, but the hormones is different. But what I'm trying to say here is, sex has been built into a culture as an act of defining your identity, and this is not just women. I can tell you the men feel the same thing. There's gonna say where you can sleep with, and this girl you bring back to meet your parents. It's it's not true. Sex is about connecting. It's about being present. It's about building up your confidence. And by confidence, I mean how much can you how confident can you be about yourself that you can put that aside and be available to the other person. Now just think with me, ladies. You with a person that can do that. How often will you come back begging for more? All the time. Especially if most of the other male will not be like that. And the same, if I'm a man and there's a woman there out there and all she wants is to give, I'll be back begging for more too. For as long as I am at that need, that need is present in my body.
Mm,
But there's something cool here, and this is woman. If you want to manipulate man, this is gonna be it. Um, you know that sex in a man works like magic. The more you do it, the more you crave for it. And the opposite is true too. So if you keep your man without sex for too long, that will work for a while. Because if he loves you, oxytocin will take over and that will be fine until he crave. So let me tell you
mm,
a classic story here. And this is how you and I uh, kind of get our relations to the next level. Remember Reboot?
Yes. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So Reboot is a book I wrote when I got through my own midlife crisis. So this is something that is a classic story. Why is it that half the marriage today fell in divorce? In other words, one man out of two, more or less, will cheat on his wife and then move on. Because sometimes the woman will be cheating, but the classic story we hear is the man cheating. But look at this. Most of the men who are cheating, that happen around between 35 and 45. We call that midlife crisis. They start sleeping around, then they start to re-question everything they've been through in their life. They're willing to change career. Now, this is a classic. Everybody knows that. And if you go to those people, some people will end up marrying again a woman who looks like a younger version of their own wife.
mm,
And they go through the whole circle again. Some will only go through that once. Some will go through that twice, even 30 times. Um, what's the story behind it? And if you go to the hormone cycle of it, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because that's another subject, but this is the story. Let's take a perfect couple. They were high school sweetheart. So the girl meet the man, The man feels in love. In other words, he feels very hard. They have sex. Then the girl look at the man and say, "You want this to last forever?" The man say, "Yes." And then they get engaged because the man was promised sex. Sex keep going on, and then eventually the woman get pregnant. Now this is the story here, and I'm talking about this about a biology point of view. You know, when the woman get pregnant, her sexual hormones is through the roof, or through the roof,
Mm.
because there's this too.
Phew.
While the man goes now at zero. There's no testosterone because there's no sex unless he is going somewhere else. And even when the baby is born, there's something in your body that nature has programmed that as how you hold the baby in your arms and you feel that connection, there's no testosterone. So there's no sex hormone to the man. All you feel, and you feel an overwhelming secretion of oxytocin. So you feel in love. You feel attached. You feel that,
Mhm.
and the nature has programmed this in a way that the male will stay around to take care of the younglings. Now the woman, for as long as she is still breastfeeding, her sexual hormones are going to the roof. She will feel that disconnection the day that she stopped breastfeeding. And go to this, ladies, the day that you stop breastfeeding, you feel depressed for a little while. Before you were exhausted because you feel like a cow, right? Mostly you are
Mm.
you,
That's
you
true though.
you have to feed your child. Then in between you have to pump your milk out, and in between the time that I might sleep a little bit, the baby start crying again, and you the whole
Mhm.
cycle started. But the day that that stop, you feel depressed. How is that? Because you just experienced a lack of sexual hormones. Usually the way couples work, it's you have this and then the man couldn't resist you too, and in that week of the month you do it and then you get pregnant again and the cycle restarted. So let's say that a family today of two, it's something normal, maybe three, you're getting your man through sex for reproduction and um, lacking completely his own needs for sexual hormones for 10, 15, even 20 years. The time that he has to act as a father, as a husband. He's never hard, but he doesn't need it because he grew some differently. And then he meet with a younger woman who's gonna touch him on the shoulder, and she's gonna leave her hand there.
Gotta try the touch on
What
the
do you
shoulder.
think happened? All of his hormones that he kept dormant for so long will come rush back. Now he can't think anymore. And I know I'm telling you a story, but you say, how come life crisis is not just about sex? Listen to this. The last time that he felt so overwhelmed with his sexual hormones was how long ago? Maybe 15 or 20 years ago when he first met his high school sweetheart. Now the man feel alive again. He felt like he felt when he was a young guy with all the dreams available. He could change the world, but he didn't change the world. He became the provider for a tiny world. And this is why, at the midlife crisis, some will change everything. Because the last time they felt that way was 18, 20, 15 years ago with the high school sweetheart. It's not the same, but to them, whatever they feel feels the same. I just explained to you why most men will go through that, and it's always the same story happening again and again, but just with different skin. What I'm trying to share with you here is not to excuse men who's sleeping around,
Mm.
but I want to illustrate the fact that you cannot ignore your body and the way that it is built. And even if you try to stop that, you might be winning for a while until it's come right back at you and slap you in the face. Look at those people around you who divorce. Some people, if you go to the psychological profile, wasn't even they were not meant to divorce. They're not looking for race. They're looking, to live their life and to just move on. And even those people will get through the same story because the hormones. If you crave the man of his hormones for too long, the day that those hormones will rise back up, they are in control. Now, use that story, use that logic, and try to leverage that on your everyday life. Understand the way your hormones works. Understand the way that you are reacting to your hormones, and try to leverage that instead of denying yourself the biggest source of energy that nature has gave you. So seduce with your hormones and learn to smell the hormones of the other party.
To smell.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, by the way, pheromones is not a concept. It's true. When a woman is ready, you can smell it.
Damn.
Yes.
That's deep.
Yes.
Actually, it's not that deep. It's very available. It's within reach.
So it's proven for that smell. Oh my gosh. I love
That
it.
was a really, really nice conversation.
Hey, talking about sex is not that hard.
It's not. It's not. You make it easy, you know?
Yes, it's true.
Make it easy. Me, I just, you know.
Yes, I thought I would be really shy, but no, it was pretty great.
So, Melissa, what are your other questions? Because I think that you have a book to write and you have less than a month to do this one.
Yes, but I have no more question. Everything has been answered, and I think I got pretty much a lot of content for
Oh,
that book.
Natasha,
yes.
And I
I'm
also
your
have a lot of
host.
homeworks.
How more will you have to squeeze me today?
How more?
Yeah, you said that you're gonna take this opportunity to make sure that you're having every answer to your questions.
Listen, I was yeah, I'm just the host, you know, but I took a lot of notes and honestly, I'll be joining in your I'll be joining your goal to write a book. So I'll be writing my own book on seduction. I won't be competing, but my book is going to be out and honestly, I'm sure it's going to be hot just like that the way I like it. So thank you so much. Um, thank you so much, guys, for being here for this podcast. So we've seen that seduction is about creating a connection. That we women should put a hand on a shoulder to create a connection with a man,
This is
right?
something that I will definitely want. Well, I'm gonna try.
Listen, I was doing it, but I never thought that
I would
it had that significance. So that meaning, I mean. So I'm
I,
gonna do that for sure. You wanted to say something?
I, yes, actually, I have been doing that too, but I didn't really think about what it really means. So now I'm gonna
Uh,
think about
just to go back to that,
it.
you asked me a classic way, right? A classic way to establish a connection without feeling too aggressive.
Aggressive, right?
So basically, I told you to touch his shoulder because everybody can touch. I can touch your shoulder right now. Doesn't mean that there's any heat. But
No,
if I keep it for a while, you start thinking of what that means. But as your hand is moving slower down near the waist, that's intimacy. And usually that intimacy is only reserved to those people who are partnering up. You can do that with your wife, you can do that with a longtime girlfriend, but you rarely do that with somebody you just met. And the other things that people, a male that will grab right away the waist of a woman, you don't feel sexy. What he's doing is he's showing the rest of the crowd that that woman is mine. That's not desire, that's possession.
Mm.
You can do the same with a man, but if you go to his waist right away, it's like, whoa. It's like, I want something, but your hands are too close or too cold. So, this if here. You want to establish that your desire is there, but it's not free, right? You put that hand on that shoulder and you keep it there and you ignore it. Just you talk. So the whole time you talk, the man is wondering, why is this still touching me?
Mm.
But that's good.
But that's
That's
an unconscious. That's his, that that's an
no,
unconscious.
trust me, he's very aware. He's very aware.
Okay, okay, okay.
But you're asking me, how can I approach a man without being too aggressive, but have a clear message? You can do everything else. Maybe he won't see it. Maybe he's not into that, or he was shy and he missed the moment. Put your hand on his shoulder and keep it there. There's no other way to understand that. At least he understands that you are feeling safe in his presence. You want a connection, right? Talk. If he can resist that, or if he can keep his mind straight, and now you are more even you feel more for him. Get your hand down a little bit and see how he reacts. I told you, even if you're married for a long time, the best way to keep the happiness of your couple is to keep your man hard. Trust me, that man is hard. It's hard, it's hot, and it's ready.
It's hot and ready. Oh, boy, hot and ready.
I'm
By the
ready.
way, I never tried on a man, okay?
No,
Just to be clear, I never tried on any man.
We
no, but we
understand.
no, but
We
we sure
understand.
appreciate your insights.
Yes.
Not only
So
as a
like,
doctor, but as a
Okay,
male.
so if I have a woman in front of me, what would I do? I think that I will go for her hands.
hence.
Yep. The same thing with the same intention. I would not go for the shoulder because the shoulder is like I'm a doctor again and I'm just gonna try to reconfort her.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go for her hands. And her hands will mean that I'll extend my friendship or I want to have but hands talk.
Yes,
The fingers talk.
yes.
So I just established a new way for me to talk with her. Especially in a noisy environment. And also women love you women I'm sorry to say this, but most women are insecure. So when you hold you grab her hands, and I say grab, gently grab her hands. You're showing everybody that you're willing to commit, right? You're not showing anybody that that woman is mine, but you're showing everybody that I want to establish something with that person. Is that our friendship? And as you are holding her hand, you keep talking. So if she's not comfortable, she will just remove her hand very gently.
Yes.
That doesn't mean much,
Sure.
but that will mean. If that is done, you know that, okay, you won't get lucky tonight. If she leaves her hand there, that's tell you that she's ready. But I also tell you that she needs to feel desire. She needs to feel love. On top of that, if touching her hand, she starts sweating, or you start sweating, that's also a message. Don't go for you. Usually people are sweating because they're they're nervous.
Yes.
If you do this and you sweat, your hands are sweating, and then you start blah 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 blah. I can't sweat, and then you lost everything. That's mean that you never did that before, and you're nervous. But let's say that you both keep composure, but her hand is sweating, yours too. What does that tell you? What does the body just told you?
The connection is real.
No,
No? Damn.
that's mean that that person is out of her zone of comfort. so are you. And if she is a woman that has been a while or just through a relationship, or that person just told you that you make her heart skip a beat, right?
Damn.
Because she's there, she's talking to you, she's keeping everything very cool, her hands are there and her hand is sweating. That's mean that she is now in her nervous zone, but she still feels safe in your presence.
Mm.
You cannot have that other ways than have body contact. Now, something else, and I'm hoping that I'm right on this. It's very rare where a man will sue a woman for sexual, how you call it? Not harassment, but when you touch them, it's how you call it?
Arousal?
No, but just you already see a man suing a woman, right? Because
Mhm.
she touched him. But the opposite is very true. Go for the hand of a woman. You're safe.
Yeah, okay, I have a story after this. I want to clear something.
Go ahead. It's your show.
Listen, yeah, but you're the guest. So here's the thing. This guy that I was very interested in, he went for my hand, but I was so nervous on the moment at, that I took out my hand, and obviously understand understand now today that I it was I gave out like the wrong message. But I just did that out of a because I was nervous.
Poor guy.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I've never been able to redeem myself or redeem the situation. But I don't I never sweat from my head.
Mm. Me too. But my back, oh my God, was I can feel all, all the sweat.
By the way, you shouldn't be ashamed of sweating, especially in a bar when you're dancing. It's it's even hot, right?
Yeah.
When you
Mm.
can feel somebody else sweat and you're close to that person, it's mean that you are sharing more than just the natural when everybody looks perfect. And what do you think it's gonna have when you have sex? If you have sex and nobody break a sweat, it's boring sex, right?
Mhm.
So
It's true.
um, take all the clues you have to communicate. Don't neglect anything. Don't judge. And you will feel that seduction is not a game, but it's much more simple than you might think.
You leave us speechless. I'm out of words.
I rest my case.
Out of words, but all smile.
Yes.
Love it.
All right.
So
So thank you, Natasha, for having us and to have spare me because I'm still alive.
right.
Thank you, Natasha.
No, I want to thank you guys for doing this, and I'm happy for you both to be on my show, my first episode ever of the Woman Up, and
Yes.
I'm hoping that it's gonna be the audience is gonna enjoy it. So
Of course. So now it's my turn to squeeze a little bit. Natasha, this is your podcast. It's your first time on air for this podcast. Please tell us what to expect of Woman Up.
this show is meant to empower women, business wise, but in their most mundane, to empower them to enter. So we will bring more experts to the table as well. So I'm very
Nice.
proud to be doing that, and with your help, you inspired me to launch that podcast. So honestly, you guys, stay tuned for more juicy content. I'm the one that brings up the heat. I'm supposed to bring up the heat, so I'll be living up to that standard. Until
And
then, stay connected.
yes, here we're talking about sex.
Thanks
Oh
for
my God.
listening.
I feel so blessed to be part of the first episode. Oh my God.
Thank you so much, Coach Mel. Thank you, Dr. Bag. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.